So today is very exciting because it's actually my 100th video. I can't believe how quickly that has come around. So today I thought I would do something a bit different. Recently I've had loads of new people come join me in this community on my channel, so thank you so much. So today I thought I would do a get to know me video. I'm going to do a few answers all about me, and then I'm going to do a Disney Parks get to know me. And admittedly, when I was looking for that, it doesn't exist online, so I've gone and created one. So that could be very resourceful of me, or it could be quite egotistical, going, no one's done that, so I'm going to make one up so I can answer those questions myself. But if it's something you enjoy, we can try and make this a thing. So you could do your own videos or like create a hashtag. We'll just see how it goes, but definitely let me know your answers as well in the comments, because I think knowing stuff about people's favourites at Disney really gives a good sense of what a person is like, what they're into. So yeah, I'd love to get to know more about you as well. So make sure in the comments you let me know some of your favourites too. So let's start with the get to know me. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Sophie and I run something called Most Magical Guides. I do have a website where I have a blog. I haven't actually updated the blog for a very long time, but it has all articles about planning trips to Disney World and Disneyland Paris. And obviously I have this YouTube channel and an Instagram account where I post all about how to plan your own most magical trips to Disney World and Disneyland Paris, and then do vlogs of my own trips myself. I live in the UK. I live on the south coast in a place called Portsmouth, about 70 miles away from London. We have a beach. Admittedly it is stones, but it's still nice to be by the sea, and there's like a really nice historical part of Portsmouth. So if you've seen any of my videos, you may have seen little Jaffa here, my boy cat, and I also have a girl cat called Coco. Jaffa is 10 and Coco is 8. Say hello, Jaffa. Nope, unimpressed. Very cat response to everything. So I actually do all of my Most Magical Guides things in my own time. I actually work full-time in TV. I work in the post-production side. So it's always really interesting to work on different programs all the time. And I get to work from home, which is really, really handy. I did used to go out and film and do everything like that. But around 10 years ago, I got quite ill. I had sepsis and I needed to work from home while recovering from that. And I've just carried on working from home ever since. As well as doing my day job and then Most Magical Guides, I also freelance as a writer where I write about Disney, how to plan Disney trips for Disney World and Disneyland Paris, and I really enjoy doing that because I love to write, and to be able to also talk about Disney, what a dream. It's like perfect. And fun fact, a number of years ago I was also a cast member. So in Portsmouth we very briefly had a pop-up store for Christmas. It was so much fun, and the thing that really makes it special is the guest interactions, and they're the things that I still remember, like certain people that I met. That was the most joyful thing about working for Disney, was kind of giving people that Disney experience even if they're not in the parks, and then you make memories as well as them, hopefully, and that's what I loved the most. So an interesting fact about me is that I was a dancer in the London 2012 opening ceremony for the Olympics. It was absolutely incredible, like a once in a lifetime opportunity. They were hiring literally anyone. So although I had done dance classes, I was not a professionally trained dancer, but luckily I got picked and it was the most incredible night. We did 4 months of rehearsals. I met the most amazing people, some that I'm still friends with even to this day, and just to have that opportunity was so special. And I was in the Thanks Tim section, which was all about the music and films coming out of Britain. And I was an 80s and 90s dancer, so I got to dance to Firestarter, and there was Fire Jets, and it was incredible. So some of my hobbies are things like listening to music, reading, very bog standard things. I like going out for walks and of course planning Disney trips. That is what I spend most of my time doing. If I haven't got a trip booked, I'm thinking about booking a trip. I'm keeping up to date on all the changes in prices, what offers are on, what's going on. So really Disney is my hobby. So my favourite food, I am a big Wagamama fan. All of my friends, we all go to Wagamama's. That's just the option because they know how much I love it. I am kind of not a fussy eater. As long as it is vegan, I'll pretty much try anything, but I really love Japanese food, Indian food, Mexican food. I do like spicy things, so willing to try everything as long as it's vegan. Oh, here's the other one. And this is Coco, the little girl cat, and her special trick is when she meows, she sounds like she's saying no. Coco, do you like being in the video? You're not going to do it now, are you? I knew this would happen. Coco, do you like being on video? No, she doesn't. My first job was actually in a funeral director's, which is probably a wild thing to think about, but I very much enjoyed it. It was a job where every day you went in with a real sense of purpose and wanting to do your best, and it's something I would definitely do again in the future. So I am an only child, I have no siblings, but I do have some cousins. If you've seen my vlog series, you would have met Emma and her husband Darren, so I'm very, very lucky to have awesome cousins. So although I am all about Disney, my favourite music is actually rock and metal, so I still listen to all the bands that I listened to as a teenager, and I'm very happy that some of them are still going, so that I can carry on with my little teenage goth lifestyle, even though now I'm all about bright colours and Disney. So the best concert I've ever been to is actually happened this year. I went to see one of my favourite bands, Rammstein, for the first time. I've been wanting to see them live for like 25 years, and if you don't know them, they are super famous for pyrotechnics. There is no one on earth that puts on a show like them. And interesting fact, whenever I go to Disney now and there are shows that have fire, I always take photos and I send it to my friend who also likes Rammstein, and I'm like, I'm in the fire zone! So unfortunately, the only language I can speak is English. I would love to be able to speak more than one language. I think it's so amazing to be able to communicate, and just I think once you've learnt one language and you've learnt the skills of learning a language, you can pick more up. At school I did do German, so that is something I've tried to like carry on doing as an adult, although not very successfully. And then I've also really enjoyed going to Finland a lot since I was a teenager, so I did try and learn Finnish, particularly over lockdown. I kind of picked it up again, not getting very far with it, but it's still fun. It's something to do, isn't it? If you're like, this feels like a productive hobby. If I'm learning a language, even though if I went there no one would understand what I'm saying, it still feels productive. And then favourite Disney movie. I think this is so hard. Like, I can't pick favourites because I just like everything and it's so difficult. But I would say my favourite classic Disney film is probably Snow White. My favourite kind of modern Disney film is probably Princess and the Frog, and I also really love Ratatouille. I just think it's so fun. So now you've got a better sense of who I am, I thought I would dive into this Disney Parks Get to Know Me. I'm very excited for this. I've made these questions up. I have no idea if they'll be interesting, but hopefully you'll get a better sense of what I am like as a Disney Parks fan. So first off, what parks have I been to? So I have been to Disney World 5 times, I've been to Disneyland in California twice, and I've been to Disneyland Paris, I don't actually remember, but it's definitely more than 10 times. And I have some more trips coming up next year, which is going to be very, very exciting. My favourite Disney park is definitely Magic Kingdom in Disney World. It just feels to me the most Disney, and it's just so magical, the atmosphere, everything there. And yeah, I think just walking in and seeing that castle is never not just emotional and so exciting and joyful. My favourite land in a Disney park is probably now Galaxy's Edge. I was so blown away by it. It was so immersive. At first it's kind of a bit confusing because there are no signs, so it feels very realistic because when you're in your own town centre there aren't signs everywhere you go. I was just like, I have no idea what anything is where I am. But once you got used to it, I was so blown away because seeing the characters just walk around and interacting and you're part of that storyline was amazing. Hearing like different noises, and it just felt like you were in a real place, like you were actually on another planet, and I was blown away. So I think Galaxy's Edge is now my new favourite land. So my favourite Disney destination is definitely Disney World. I love the charm of Disneyland Paris and the history of Disneyland, but Disney World just has everything. It's so big, everything's over the top, everything's extra, and just the cast members there are just so magical, and they every time make my experience the absolute best. And I think that's the thing that's special about all Disney parks really, is the cast members really do make such a difference and your experience is massively heightened by them. So yeah, I think it just has to be Disney World though. It's just got everything, all of the restaurants, all of the hotels, all of the parks. It just has such a special feeling. Disney park I would most like to visit. This absolutely has to be Disney Sea in Tokyo. I genuinely think this looks like the best Disney park in the world, and I am desperate to go out and experience it. My friends Becky and Matt, for their honeymoon, visited Japan, and one of the things they did was go to Disney there, and they were saying it's absolutely incredible, you need to go. And I'm like, oh, so that is the big dream. My favourite Disney restaurant restaurant. This is actually really hard because I think Disney food has improved a lot in the recent years, and there are lots of great restaurants now. I know when I was recently in Disney World, I very much enjoyed Jungle Navigation Skipper's Canteen, not only because the food was amazing, but I had no idea that the cast members were going to also be the jungle skippers with the dad humour, and I was blown away. I had the most amazing time. Somewhere else that I really enjoyed was Beer Garden. Again, I was thinking, oh, a buffet. I'm not a massive fan of buffets, but I loved the food. The decor was incredible. The fact that you had the little German band, everyone had their like drinks swaying in the air. Like, it was so much fun. So I very much enjoyed that. And in Disneyland Paris, I think my favourite restaurant is Auberge de Cendrillon. I know it's the most expensive, but that Princess Character Dining experience that I had was outstanding. The food was really good, but the interactions were so memorable and nice, and I thought it was worth every single penny. So that's probably my favourite in Disneyland Paris. My favourite Disney snack has to be Dole Whip. I love that you can get all different flavours, floats, specialty Dole Whips, and it's just that thing of it's something that vegans can have, so everyone gets to enjoy it. It's also gluten-free, which is amazing. So it's something that everyone who visits Disney can enjoy. In Florida, in the heat, you want something cool, this is absolutely perfect. And I love that it's kind of not a sorbet, it genuinely is like a soft serve ice cream, but just happens to be vegan. So very much enjoy that. Also have to give a big shout out to Mickey Pretzels. I kind of prefer savoury food, and it's so good, and I actually like it as like a breakfast option because there's not always breakfast options that are vegan in the parks, so I always vote for a Mickey Pretzel. So my favourite Disney hotel for theming probably has to be either Animal Kingdom Lodge, the Polynesian, or Wilderness Lodge. I just think they are so beautiful, and obviously Animal Kingdom Lodge, having that savannah was outstanding. The Polynesian, the fact that you've got the beach, you can see Magic Kingdom, is wonderful, and Wilderness Lodge is just so relaxing. You really feel like you're out in the wilderness, and yeah, I just think there's so many good hotels, but there's so many more that I want to try. My favourite Disney ride, so I think it's actually Big Thunder Mountain in Disneyland Paris. I love everything about that. It's my favourite track. I don't know why, but I just really enjoyed that track more than the one at Disney World. And I just think it's so much fun. I have to go on it every single time, so I think it's that. But I also want to give a big shout out to Rise of the Resistance because I got to experience it for the very first time during this trip, and I was blown away. It's like a 25-minute interactive experience that's totally immersive, that features a ride. It was just absolutely incredible. I was so blown away, and I feel like if this is the future of what rides are going to be like at Disney World and Disney parks in general, we're in for a treat, because when you see how immersive Galaxy's Edge and Rise of Resistance is, if that is the direction we're taking, it's going to be mind-blowing what we're going to get in the future. A Disney ride that I would love to go on, so for me, that would be Mystic Manor. It looks amazing. I've totally believe in the hype. I think it looks absolutely incredible. So desperately want to go and try Mystic Manor. Disney ride I would like to work on. So for me, it would have to be Haunted Mansion or Tower of Terror. I absolutely love the costumes. I love the creepy atmosphere. Love the rides. Although I can't really go on Tower of Terror anymore because it makes me feel ill, which is such a shame. But the fact that you can kind of be creepy and freak people out, I absolutely love that. But I think I would find it very hard to keep a straight face and be serious and ghoulish and frightening the whole time. I think that would be really hard. One ride I would not like to work on is Crush's Coaster in Disneyland Paris, because hearing mine, I couldn't listen to that for all day. I absolutely couldn't do that. So whatever those people are being paid, not enough. Definitely not enough. My dream Disney job, I think for me that would be an Imagineer. Now, admittedly, I don't think I have the skills to be an Imagineer, but I find them so inspiring. I think the fact that their job has so many facets is so interesting, and I just love Imagineers. I just think they're so excellent. But something that might be more realistic is I'd love to be a tour guide or a plaid. So the tour guides that do like the Keys to the Kingdom tour or the special tours in the Disney parks, I think it'd be so much fun. Like, I love the history of the parks and learning all the facts, so being able to share that with other people, I would absolutely love. And a plaid, I just think it's so fun that you get to show people around. and create their dream day. Whatever their dream Disney experience is, you get to help them have that. And I think that must be amazing. My favourite Disney parade, I have to say my all-time favourite is Dream and Shine Brighter at Disneyland Paris. This 30th anniversary parade is so good. The new songs are so catchy, and then the mega mix that they have of all the Disney songs is amazing. The dancing is incredible. There's fireworks going off. I was blown away, and every single time I see it, I'm like so happy, so joyful, and naturally, of course, I cry as well. If you've watched my videos, you know I cry at everything at Disney. My favourite show in a Disney park has to be Mickey and the Magician. I think this is one of the greatest things about Disney is whatever park you visit, they have incredible Broadway level shows. So no matter which one you see, they're all going to blow you away. I love that Mickey and the Magician is an original storyline. You get lots of characters from lots of different films, and there's some amazing choreography. So it had absolutely everything I love. My favourite nighttime Disney show. So my actual favourite is Disney Dreams. Now that doesn't exist anymore. That was a show at Disneyland Paris, and it was just perfection to me. I absolutely loved it, and I still watch it to this day on YouTube. But I would say out of the current shows, I find it hard to pick because none of them have the emotional punch that I feel like Disney Dreams and some of the other nighttime shows have had. So I find that really hard to answer. One of my favourite cast member interactions happened a couple of years ago. I went into Disney World, and I love wearing the ears, always have them on, to the point where sometimes you forget they're on. And I'd gone back to the parks in the afternoon and scanned in, and the cast member said to me, "Oh, your ears are looking nice." And I thought, weird person who comments on, and I'd completely forgotten they were talking about my Mickey ears. Once I realised, like the next day, I was like, oh, that makes much more sense. But now whenever I meet Mickey Mouse, I always let him know I've come here and I've been growing my ears especially for you, and it's all because of that interaction I had with the cast member. My favourite Disney character to me has to be Mickey Mouse. He's just so iconic, and you do feel kind of a bit starstruck almost because he's such a legend. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm meeting Mickey Mouse. But I have to say, I also really enjoyed Donald Duck. His interactions are always super fun and very funny. And I also love the Disney villains. Whenever I've had Disney villain experiences, they have always been incredible. So I met Dr. Facilier, that was amazing. Gaston, when they used to do that, I hope they bring that back to Disney World because it was fantastic. And I had some amazing interactions with Lady Tremaine, which actually leads on to my next little get to know me question, which is your most memorable character interaction. And I think it was with Lady Tremaine. I had gone to 1900 Park Fair at the Grand Floridian. I love the Disney villain, so I was very excited to meet her. And I also love cats, and of course she's famous for having a cat called Lucifer. So when Lady Tremaine came to my table, we had a nice little chat, and then I said to her, "How is Lucifer?" And she said he's doing perfectly fine, but unfortunately Prince Charming doesn't allow him in the dining room. And I said, "Ugh, sick of him. Get rid of the prince, get the cat in." And then she was like, "Oh my god, we're best friends." And then she sat down at the table, she was talking about we have to go and play croquet, and we just had the most amazing chat and bonded over our villainous and dislike of Prince Charming. And it was so good. Disney experience that I want to try is doing the tour of Walt's apartment in Disneyland, and something that I'm sure everyone wants to do, experiencing Club 33. This is the private members club at Disney, and I would love to have that experience. Something that I would like to see at Disney, for me, it has to be a Villains Land. It's been something loads of people have been talking about for ages, and it would be the absolute best. Like, there is such a big fandom for the Disney villains. I think it could be so incredible. And in fact, actually, during lockdown, there was an online course kind of done by Imagineers to teach you how they do their job, and you got set tasks so you could create your own land to see what goes into being an Imagineer. So I'm pretty sure it was for school children. But I thought, I'm getting involved, and I created my own Villains Land, and it was amazing. So if they'd like any ideas, hit me up. But I think it would be so incredible. There's so many fantastic Disney villains by this point. what more could you have if you had a whole villain's land dedicated to them? It would be creepy, it would be spooky, it could be quite funny, and I just think it would be awesome. A Disney experience that I would recommend is the Keys to the Kingdom tour. I was lucky enough to experience this during my most recent Disney World trip. It's something I've always wanted to do, and it did not disappoint. You get to have a 5 or 6 hour backstage tour. You learn all about the parks, the history, secret facts, and the best thing is you get to go backstage. So I got to see when the parade was being set up and all the characters backstage, and you also get to go to the famous Utilidors. So you get to go underneath Magic Kingdom and see all of the different working areas that they have, and it was incredible. I also had the most amazing guide called Darlene. She had an incredible history. Both her grandfather and father had worked for Walt Disney, and as a child she grew up knowing Walt Disney, and she had so many amazing stories, and then hearing her personal journey to working at Disney was fantastic. So that was probably the highlight of my Disney World trip, and I can't wait to share that with you in an upcoming vlog, so do make sure you subscribe so you can see that. But I would absolutely recommend, if you have any interest in the Disney parks or the history of Disney, definitely go on the Keys of the Kingdom tour because it was incredible. Advice for first timers. So what I would say is probably 2 bits of advice. One, make sure you add in rest days. There is so much to see and do, but going from park opening to park close will wear you out and you just will not enjoy the trip. So definitely have rests either in the day where you go back to your hotel and swim or something like that, or maybe have a sit down meal in the parks, and even have full days where you're maybe going to a water park or playing miniature golf, something like that, because you're still going to be getting the Disney experience, but your feet will thank you for it and you'll just feel much more rested and energized to go and enjoy the parks. My other bit of advice is that, particularly now where there is so much planning involved, it can feel very overwhelming and stressful. But what I would say is try and break things down step by step, and then don't worry so much. Like, you will have an amazing time. So don't worry about having to plan every single second out to make sure that you have the best experience, because you are going to have an amazing time anyway. As long as you've got those essentials down, like park pass reservations and any dining reservations that you want, things like that, then do not fear. You are going to have the most amazing trip, and it can be very overwhelming. Even I, as someone who loves planning, feels like there is far too much planning involved now, and I think for people that have never been before, it is just, where do you start? But if you have any questions, do comment down below, come and let me know, message me on Instagram, and I will answer any questions you have. My dream Disney trip. So I actually have 2. These are like, if I win the lottery, this is what I'm doing immediately. The first would be to go to all 3 parks in Asia. So I'd love to go to Shanghai, Tokyo and Hong Kong. They look so incredible, and it'll be really nice to have done all of the Disney parks in the world. So that is my number 1 pick. So my other one, this is like the dream, like if we win the lottery, this is happening, because I don't think it's gonna be possible otherwise. But I would love to do 2 weeks in Disney World, fly over to California, do a week in Disneyland, and then go to Aulani. I think Aulani looks so beautiful, and to be able to do all of that Disney in one go and then have a nice break and relaxing on the beach in Hawaii at Aulani, I think it would be stuff that dreams are made of. So that is my ultimate dream Disney trip. And the final question is, what impact has Disney had on your life? And it's almost indescribable. It's kind of impacted every aspect of my life. I'm so lucky to now be able to share my passion of Disney, either through writing articles for other people, freelance writing, making videos. The fact that I've had so many friends that I've made through Disney. Some of the most amazing memories of my life have been made in Disney parks. It's the place where I am the happiest, the most joyful, carefree. I just love everything about Disney. If I'm not in Disney, I'm thinking about Disney. And I just think, as an adult, what Disney gives you is that playfulness, that joyfulness, but also that hopefulness. And I think as an adult, it can be very easy to get bogged down in world events and what's going to happen in the future and bills and stuff like that. Going to a Disney park, you get to escape all of that, and literally you're in this bubble where everything feels hopeful and happy. And I think it's the best tonic. And I find Disney so inspirational. Walt Disney as a man, I find it inspirational, but I just love everything about Disney. I think there's nothing better on earth, and being able to visit the parks, and just have that break and dive into the magic and have all of that joyfulness is the best experience ever. So that is my get to know me video. Thank you so much for joining me for this 100th video. I can't quite believe we've got to that milestone, but I just want to say a massive thank you to every single person who has commented, liked, subscribed, followed me on Instagram, sent me messages. The thing that I am most thankful for is kind of, we have this lovely community. Everyone is so nice, and to have made so many friends is amazing, particularly with other Dis nerds. So thank you so much. There is so much more to come in the future. We are currently at the very beginning of my Disney World series. I cannot wait for you to see the rest of the trip because it was amazing. And of course, there's going to be lots more Disneyland to Paris and Disney World trip planning videos. And of course, I've got some more Disneyland Paris videos that will be coming up next year because I have some trips planned, which is very exciting. So I just want to say a massive thank you once again, and until next time, I hope you have a most magical day. Bye bye.